Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. We start with this report claiming that FC Barcelona cannot afford to eye signings until player registrations are complete. We are going to be discussing on that as we move ahead. Then, secondly, talking about Pablo Gavi as PSG made enquiries for the 90 million rated Barca Golden Boy this summer. We are also going to be discussing on that. So, guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. La Liga is set to kick off this weekend with Barcelona taking on Getafe at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez for their opening game. Less than a week remains before the first official game kicks off, and there is still worry surrounding player registrations. According to reports from Mundo Deportivo, there is tangible tensions in the Barcelona offices regarding the same. Xavi Hernandez has only 13 players currently registered for the new season, and two of them, Ousmane Dembele and Franck Kessié, are on the verge of leaving the club. Instead of pushing for new signings like Ivan Fresneda, Bernardo Silva, and Neymar, it is thus vital that the administration first work on the registration. After all, there would be a heavy price if they pay or no to pay if they cannot. Barcelona struggles in registering new signings is not unheard of. One remembers the time when only a significant wage reduction by Gerard Piqué helped the team register Memphis Depay. Last summer, Jules Koundé had to wait for a few games into the season to get registered and feature for the club in La Liga. The Blaugranas have thus been forced to include a registration clause in the contracts of newly signed players. According to Mundo Deportivo, Gundogan can leave Barcelona on a free transfer if he is not registered by the 13th of August. A similar clause stands in the contract of Inigo Martinez, by which he can leave on loan with his salary to be paid in full if he is not registered. The Catalans worry about the registration does not end with new signings. After all, there are several stars who have signed new deals with the club who have been waiting a long time for their registration. Ronald Araujo extended his deal with the club on a higher salary back in April 2022. Over a year later, the Blaugranas are yet to register his new terms with La Liga. Other players such as Inaki Piena, Sergio Roberto, and Marcos Alonso have not had their new contracts registered, while Gavi's first team registration has been done only due to a court order. Joan Laporta planned to sell a 16% stake in Barca Studios in exchange for an economic injection for 65 million euros from a German firm this summer. The liquidation of assets would help the club register all the players without trouble. The deal has come to a halt though, sparking concerns, but Barcelona remain confident about the operation going through. However, with less than a week left for the season to start, the club will be intent on taking care of the matter at the earliest. I hope they do take care of this registration matter because honestly, it's kind of boring that back to back seasons we keep talking about registration issues and like how worse can it have it become? Like Barcelona facing a lot of issues to the way that even to register players before La Liga kicks off is always a problem. It's always a problem because we have faced that same issue in the last two seasons. And very soon La Liga starts. La Liga starts on August 12th, this coming Friday. Barca plays their own match on, I think, Sunday against Getafe away from home. And now we're talking about players, only 13 players registered. Oh my God. Is this not shocking? Because at the end of the day, they will wait until the very last minute and we'll start seeing panicking that some players to reduce salaries, some players to do this, to do that, to do this, and all those things. It doesn't make sense for me. I think this thing, as we are speaking right now, Laporta should start scratching his head on how to go about this, because for me it looks somehow embarrassing that you bring new signings up, they cannot even start the first La Liga game. Last season it was Kunde and some other players. They couldn't start because they were still waiting for registration issues to be sorted out. The other season, Memphis Depay couldn't start until Gerard Piqué had to cut his salary. So all these transfer rumors we have been talking about, this report is just clearly stating that we can't even go ahead with any transfer right now until these registrations are done. Because honestly, for me, this one now looks more urgent because today we're already on Tuesday, the 8th of August. We're just talking about 4 days left, and we all need to see our new players in action. It shouldn't be like a phenomenon or something that is always like a normal something that every year we start the season when some new signings won't play. And what's of it, this season we're even talking about some players who did renew your contracts. Those renewals have still not been registered, which means that Araujo, Alonso, Inaki Pena, Roberto can't play as things stand. They can't play La Liga games until they are registered. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. Why PSG are close to sealing Ousmane Dembele's transfer from Barca for 50 million euros. A report from Mundo Deportivo has emerged, claiming that the Ligue 1 side, through their trusted intermediary, also asked Barcelona if they are willing to sell Gavi. The Blaugrana, however, are not even contemplating the option because the young midfielder is arguably one of the most valuable players in the squad. Of course, the 19-year-old Gavi's first appearance for the Spanish national team came in 2021. The midfielder made his debut in the UEFA Nations League semi-finals against Italy and thus became the youngest player to ever represent Spain at senior level. His debut for the national team happened under the tutelage of Luis Enrique, who happens to be PSG's current head coach. The aforementioned publication writes that the former Barca manager is a big fan of the young star, um, you know, whose agent, Ivan de la Pena, also happens to share a close relationship with Luis Enrique. As such, PSG launched an inquiry for Gavi though through intermediaries, only to be completely shut down by Barcelona. The 19-year-old youngster, whose market value is now 90 million euros, could not feature in any matches during the pre-season tour of the United States due to back problems. But it goes without saying that he is simply irreplaceable to the team. He is in fact the present and the future of Barca. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.